The Hunger Games has shown us dozens of weapons across the franchise.
But if you were thrown into a game, which one would you pick to actually survive?
I've been doing real-life Hunger Games for 9 years, and I've seen people lose fights they should have won, just because of the weapon they chose. So today, we're ranking the main weapons
To figure out which gives you the highest chance of winning that fight.
If you want to learn more about how my Hunger Games work and how to participate, subscribe. I've got a full breakdown on the channel. How this works. Before we start, here's how I'm scoring everything. Damage. Basically, how easy is it to land a solid, consistent hit? Range. How well you can control distance. Speed. How fast you can attack and recover. Usability. How easy is it to pick up and be effective?
Because some weapons may be strong, but they're hard to use for the average person. It takes a lot of experience and time into that weapon.
And we're only covering main weapons here. If you want a part 2 for secondary weapons, let me know. Axe. This is just a standard double-bladed axe, not the Poleaxe. Compared to the other weapons, you've got very little blade surface. It's fairly light, but it's slower than a sword. You can, however, catch or control other weapons if you know what you're doing, which is a big advantage. Damage, I'm giving it a 3. Range, 2. Speed, 3. Usability, 4. For a total of 12 points. Decent across the board, but not something I'd put at the top. Poleaxe. Now, the Poleaxe is interesting in comparison to the regular axe. You've got significantly more reach now, which means you can control fights better and keep people at a distance. However, it's got less blade surface and it's slightly harder to use than a regular axe, but not by much. Damage, I'm giving it a 2. Range, 4. Speed, 3. And usability, also 4. For a total of 13 points. Solid weapon, but still not quite enough to take the lead. Spear. Now, the spear, this is where things change. The spear is one of the most well-rounded weapons you can have. You can keep people at a distance, strike quickly, and even throw it if you need to. And that range advantage, it's huge. A lot of fights are decided by who controls distance, and the spear excels at that. The downside is the small damage area. You have to be precise, whether that's jabbing it or throwing it. But if you are precise, this thing is dangerous. Damage, 2. Range, 5. Speed, 5. Usability, 4. With a total of 16 points. That jumps straight into first place, and it's not even close so far. Glaive. Now, the glaive, think of this like a machete on a pole. It's similar to the spear, but with more blade surface, which makes it easier to land hits consistently. You do lose a bit of range and you can't throw it, but in return, it's way more forgiving in its consistency and ease of use. And that matters more than people think. Damage, 3. Range, 3. Speed, 5. And usability, also 5. For a total of 16 points. Now, we've got a tie. And honestly, for most people, this might actually be a better option than the spear, because it's just easier to use overall. Sticking with the polearms, up next is the Trident. This one's a little misleading in the franchise. In the Hunger Games, Finnick throws these things like they're spears. Fast, accurate, effortless, but realistically, that's not how it works. The weight is uneven, the prongs mess with the aerodynamics, and unless you've trained with it a ton, your accuracy drops off fast. However, he did kinda train with this his whole life. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still dangerous. Up close, it can do serious damage, but as a thrown weapon, it's just not as reliable as it looks on screen. So here's where I'm putting it. Damage, 2.5. Range, 4. Speed, 5. And usability, 3. For a total of 14.5 points. Such a solid option, but not top tier. bow. Next, the bow. This one is kind of painful for me because I actually love using the bow, but I've got to be fair here. The range is insane. If you're good, you can control fights before they even start. Similar to Finnick, Katniss grew up training with the bow, but as far as someone just picking it up and using it, that's when it becomes a problem. You have to be good. If someone closes the distance, you're in trouble, and it takes a lot of practice to be consistent. So while it's powerful, it's not reliable for most people. Damage, I'm giving it a 3. Range, I'm giving it a 4, just because it's not good at close range. Speed, 3. Usability, 1, for a total of 11 points. Low score, but that usability really hurts it. Blowgun.
Now, I personally haven't used the blowgun in the games, but I've used it enough for practice to know that it's a good weapon, but it doesn't really dominate any category. It's very consistent and easy to use, and sometimes that's exactly what you want.
Damage, 3. Range, 3. Speed, also 3. Usability, 5, for a total of 14 points. Not the best, but definitely not bad either. Sword. Now, for swords, this is what most people gravitate toward, and for good reason. They're fast, versatile, and relatively easy to pick up and use. But they also have a really high skill ceiling if you want to master them. You've got solid damage, good speed, and decent range. It's just a very balanced weapon. Damage, 4. Range, 3. Speed, 5. Usability, 4. For a total of 16 points. Final results. So, what's the best weapon? We've got a 3-way tie between the spear, glaive, and sword, but they each win in different ways. Spear is best for control and keeping distance. Glaive is easiest to use effectively, and sword is most balanced overall.
And this is where it really comes down to you. The weapon stats doesn't matter so much as how comfortable you are with that weapon. If you liked this video and you thought it was helpful and useful, let me know if you agreed with these stats and these rankings. If you did, great. If you didn't, please let me know. And I will see you guys in the next one.